Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. When taking a deep dive into the life stories of reggae stars, they normally have a lot in common. The reggae hero's journey always has the same ingredients: an often difficult start, a talent for music, a struggle, and then eventual breakthrough, and mostly happy endings. Even if you aren't a reggae fan, it's very likely that you would have heard of Peter Tosh and Lucky Dube. But what you wouldn't know is that when you place the lives of Tosh and Dube and examine them closely, what you get is a shocking and eerie chain of coincidences that are just too strange to ignore. From the start of their lives, up until each man's last day on earth, was a strange parallel existence that lends a ton of weight to the saying that truth is often stranger than fiction. Winston Hubert McIntosh, aka Peter Tosh, was born on the 19th of October 1944 in the Grange Hill district in the parish of Westmoreland in Jamaica. He showed amazing musical talent as a child and had a natural flair for instruments, especially the guitar. By the time he hit the age of 17, he had had enough of life in the village and told his mother that he wanted to go and learn to be a welder, so he was sent to Kingston to stay with an aunt who would find him a place to learn the trade. Soon after arriving in Kingston, he changed his mind and decided to explore his musical talents instead. Peter took up a job as an assistant to a dry cleaner close to his aunt's house, which incidentally was in the Trenchtown ghetto. As the popular story goes, he made friends with two other teenagers in Bob Marley and Bonnie Wailer, who were also aspiring musicians, and the trio went on to form a group that took Jamaica by storm 2 years later, and indeed the world, by 1973. Tosh would leave the group by 1974 and would go on to a hugely successful solo career. 20 years after Tosh was born, a baby boy came into the world 12,000 kilometers away from Jamaica on the 3rd of August 1964 in the small town of Ermelo in the eastern Transvaal of South Africa. His mother named him Lucky because he survived after a number of failed pregnancies. Lucky Dube's life in music began when he and some friends formed a band in school called the Sky Band, and by the time he got into his teens, he had joined a pop group called the Love Brothers, which was put together by his producer cousin Richie Siluma. It was during this time with that band that he discovered Rastafari and the teachings of Marcus Garvey. He also became a big fan of Peter Tosh and Jimmy Cliff, and strongly felt that both men were making music that was relevant to their societies and also applicable to his life in South Africa, which was then under the bonds of apartheid. He left the band to pursue a solo career as a reggae artist. He released his first album titled Rastas Never Die in 1984, but he was banned by the apartheid government over his radical message and lyrics in 1985. His next album, Think About the Children, became a huge commercial success that established him and led to a string of platinum-selling albums both on the local and international stage. So far on the surface, it looks like both men's similarities seem pretty mild, so let's take a deeper dive into their weirdly similar situations. First similarity: both men were born by single mothers and raised without parents in the picture. Tosh was born the only child of his mother, Alvira Cook, after a relationship with his father, James McIntosh. His father refused to take care of him, and his mother took him to live with an aunt and moved to Belmont to find a job. And just like Tosh, Lucky Dube's father abandoned his mother before he was born, and his mother was forced to leave him in the village with his grandma and aunt while she went to look for a job in Johannesburg. The second similarity is that both men had very similar singing voices and sang with a rich baritone. As mentioned earlier, Lucky Dube was inspired by Peter Tosh, and he modeled his singing voice after his mentors. Though Tosh's tone was a few notches deeper, it takes a careful ear to be sure of who you're listening to. In fact, the first time I heard Lucky Dube, I was with a group of friends at a music shop, and when Dube's music began to play, we all thought it was Peter Tosh, until the shopkeeper showed us the cassette case and told us who Dube actually was. The third similarity is that both men began their musical careers at the age of 17 and would have careers that would last for exactly 26 years. Tosh moved to Kingston at the age of 17 in 1961 and hooked up with Bob and Bonnie to form the Wailers, and would enjoy a career that ended with his passing in 1987. Dube as well joined the Love Brothers in 1981 at the age of 17 and released the first album that year, and enjoyed a career that also thrived until his death in 2007. The fourth similarity is that both men passed away at the age of 43. Tosh, who was born in 1944, passed away in 1987, while Lucky Dube, who was born in 1964, passed away in 2007. What is equally strange is that Lucky Dube was born 20 years after Tosh was born and passed away 20 years after Tosh passed. The fifth similarity is that both men were killed by three-man gangs of armed robbers at 8:30 p.m. Just before 8:30 p.m. on Friday the 13th of September in 1987, three men arrived on motorbikes at Tosh's home. They came armed to the teeth to steal dollars, as they had heard that the Stepping Razor had just returned after playing a concert in the US. They didn't get any money and in frustration opened fire on the 7 people in the house, killing 2 people including Peter. Also at 8:30 p.m. on the 18th of October 2007, Lucky Dube was arriving at his brother's house in Rosettenville, Johannesburg to drop his kids off while driving his Chrysler 300cc SUV. Unfortunately, some criminals had been on the prowl in the area that evening looking for the same model of car to steal. When they saw Dube's car drive up and park not too far from them, 3 of the men rushed out of the car and opened fire, killing Dube on the spot just a few hours before Tosh's birthday on the 19th of October. These strange parallels between Tosh and Dube are the strangest I've ever seen in music, and it blows my mind each time I consider them. But there is one huge difference between both men, and that is the fact that while Tosh was a heavy user and advocate for the use of marijuana, Dube wasn't even a smoker. All in all, these coincidences make for one of the most intriguing set of facts in reggae history, and something that always comes to mind each time both men's names are mentioned in the same sentence. Really, truth is stranger than fiction. So there you have it. Thank you for watching the video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, God bless.